Good morning, everyone. How are we all today? I hope we're all well. A wee quick look, see who's in. Aki's mad. Eddie Wolfie, Melanie, Stephen Bankier, Neil McLean, Carol Oates, Reg Fairbairn, Tina Chalmers up there in Dundee, Mary McDonald, Lorna Shields. Good morning, Reagan and Elite. You've no got a live stream this morning, okay. There you go, folks. Reagan and Elite's no live stream right after me this morning. Right, and we've got Linda Hendren, George Docherty, Alex Adams, Mark Leslie. No, I haven't seen. I'm sorry, Mark. I wasn't on social media last night. When I was finished work, I had something else I had to do last night. And in between social media, I'm reading a COVID report, as you're aware. And it's 800 pages of pure bloody tediousness to get to 22 conclusions, which will not be, 22 recommendations, which will not be applied anywhere. So no, Mark, I'm sorry, I'll have a wee look after this. And if there's a problem with the audio, folks, I have been trying to fix it. But it may well just be where I am. This is quite a cavernous area, the dining room and open plan into the front room. So we did get a bit of an echo. So I apologise in advance. And I'll try not to go off my head in case I blow your windies out. Okie dokie. Right, that's us up over the 100 mark. So let's get this broadcast underway. Andy Truck Davey put the truck in up home in his office in Hillsborough, North Lanarkshire, where it is 6 degrees, cloudy. It's a dark, dank, damp morning. And the high today will be 8 degrees. Humidity here is at 81%. And the wind speed for my area is going to be between 9 and 24 miles per hour. Pollen count does not count. So that's what the weather's like here in Hillsborough, North Lanarkshire. If you want to know what the weather's like where you are, look at your own bloody windy and maybe drop a wee comment and so I can find out how the weather is where you are. Anyway, let's get this one underway, shall we? For those of you that didn't see the video I put out yesterday after I'd been to the bank, that's November's allocation being sent out to the 3 food banks. We've got Church Angels, United Reformed Church in Port Glasgow. They get 250. The Star Project in Paisley, which is Food Bank in Paisley, they got 250. And Renfrewshire Food Bank, they get 250 as well. Okay. Now, I'm in the process. There is just short of £2,000 left in the bank, folks. There is 1,948, I think it is. £1,800 of that will be going out on my day off next week to 3 food banks. Well, 4 actually, because some of the funds will be going to the artist known as Wee Scribbles. Happy birthday, by the way, Michael. It's the artist known as Wee Scribbles' birthday today, where he'll be splitting it between 2 baby banks that he supports. But him and his mate are going to take a transit van and the money we give them and go and fill it. And no doubt Michael, being Michael, he'll put the pictures out. Okay. Cold in Aberdeen. Blue skies. Cool. Okay. And if Sir Larry the Cat's in the audience, that was a must-see video you sent me, Sir Larry. Or maybe I'll be chatting about that and maybe even play a wee bit of it tomorrow afternoon. Okay. Because that was mental. But it would appear the LBC presenter wasn't prepared to come up against the Glaswegian because she didn't have to make him look stupid, called out the motives within minutes, and then it was like a rabbit in the headlights for the rest of the bloody interview. Folks, I'm going to play a bit of that tomorrow. It was something that Sir Larry the Cat sent me. All right. Okay, let's go on with this. First up this morning, we've got the Rancid. What does the Rancid tell us? Army trainer helped kill Ukrainians. Scottish soldier is Putin's spy. And we'll get a wee bit more of that as we move on. Okay. In fact, we'll get a wee bit merry right now as we put up the first one we're going to put up today, and that's the Express. So the Looney Ragby Express, here we go. And it's got former soldier is detained as a suspect over 3 high-profile killings in Ukraine. Scots military expert accused of spying for Russia. And this is the story of the young fella down here. He's a 40-year-old, and he's from Dunfermline. His name is Ross Hillsborough, and as I say, he's been detained in Ukraine, suspected of being a Russian spy. That's interesting. I wonder what he's doing in Ukraine. Huh? Next up, we've got Scum, and we don't put that up. And the Scum's on a football story, and it says priciest football tickets ever. The great game robbery. World Cup fans and £1,000 rip-off. And FIFA will get 30% of the ticket price, which is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable, the amount of money we're talking about. £1,000 to watch a football game. The world's gone mad. Wow. Wow. No, I haven't seen a Poverty Prize new YouTube, latest YouTube advert. You wonder who's paying for all this. Okay, now after the Scum, we've got the Scotsman, which the Scotsman got for us this morning. Well, the Scotsman tells us that 1 in 4 Scots doctors say services are normally unsafe. I thought that wording doesn't sound right. But even just the front page there, folks, that's how propaganda's done. Let me swap that round. And never mind the normally unsafe. That's nonsense. But let's swap that round, will we? 3 in 4 doctors say services are normally safe. 75% of doctors say services are normally safe. 3/4 of doctors say services are normally safe. Now, when they're talking about services being safe here, folks, they're not talking about individual procedures or anything like that. They're talking about volume of and the ability for the NHS to cope. Okay, but to say that's how propaganda is written. 1 in 4 Scots doctors say. 3 in 4 Scots doctors say is another way of putting it. Okay, we say 75% of Scots doctors say things are normally safe. 3/4 of doctors say things are normally safe. Take your pick. But that's how propaganda is done. Let's put the magnifying glass on the small figure rather than taking the general on the big figure. That's how it's done. Next up, we've got the fail. What's the fail got for us this morning? No doubt it's another fail. Well, actually, it's on a royal story, so it must be running scared of something that's in the news it doesn't want to touch. Cut price royal rents under fire after Andrew's Royal Lodge scandal. MPs to scrutinise deals enjoyed by Sophie, Edward and Princess Alexandra. So it would appear royal rent is going to come under scrutiny from MPs. Very good. You would expect them to own the properties, wouldn't you? But they don't. They're state-owned. Remember, they're only supposed to be figureheads. Right, after the fail, we have the Times. What's the Times go for us? Well, probably the heavyweights down there will still be on Rachel Reeves in the budget. Economists warn of low growth and higher bills. Well, geez, oh. Wow. It would appear that crystal balls have actually got it fucking right for a change. Didn't need an economist to tell us that. We don't need that. We don't need an economist to tell us that. We can nip down the fucking supermarket. We can look at the unemployment figures. Well, no daft. Wow. Another thing low growth costs, folks, is higher taxes. Now, I'm in favour of taxes, of course, but when you have low growth, those who are in work have to pay more to subsidise their fellow man and allow them to live a decent standard of life. We were talking about socialism on Monday. We'll talk about liberalism on Thursday. Right? But the basic premise of socialism is that everything is in the hands of the state and that you pay the state for services. Tax is a good thing, folks. All right. So, economist warns of low growth and higher bills. No shit, Sherlock. Wow. And the only reason why they're going to get away with it is because of the fiscal drag. Dragging more and more people into taxation. How do so, Larry? I was saying before you popped up, when you're right in a naughty step, that video you sent me was an eye-opener right enough. For a start, it was about, 26% of students in Glasgow don't have English as their first language. I've got a fucking newsflash for the idiot at LBC. None of us speak English. We all speak Scots, or Gaelic, or multiple other languages. But there's not fucking one of us. There's certainly not a kid in Glasgow speaks fucking English. The arrogance of them. Oh. But by Christ, it was good. I'm going to play that bit of that tomorrow. So, Larry, I really am. Right, where will we? Get rid of this drag and go into the Telegraph and see what nonsense it's going at this morning. Well, it appears that Rachel's no got her troubles to seek because her top Mandarin civil servant is dragged into OBR row because he publishes a letter that proves that she misled the public and that she knew she was misleading the public, apparently. So I guess he'll be getting sacked. And the byline below the picture of the young lady there, Putin is getting ready for war with Europe. No, he's no. Mere scare fucking stories. So, mere scare stories. Treasury Mandarin publishes a letter that proves that Rachel Reeves did mislead the public and she knew she was doing it. Makes you need to have a look for that letter. So Larry, go and nick it. That would be funny. Bit of humour there. Next up, we'll get the Guardian. What nonsense did it go for us this morning? Oh. English rag published in Scotland. Bitter injustice. No officer will face discipline over Hillsborough. Is there? I'm still alive. It was 37 years ago. My co-presenter looks very contented there, Mr. McGuinness. Thanks a lot, he is. Now, folks, the Hillsborough disaster was a shameful episode. A shameful episode of state cover-up and shielding one of its agencies. So what made people think at the end of inquiry after inquiry after inquiry, what made people think that any of the agents of the state would be held responsible? That was never going to happen. That was never going to happen. All right. But that comes up again, folks. The fact that once again, no one will be held responsible for something that happened to the little man. You know, it's only a handful of working class Liverpudlians, for fuck's sake. We can't have officials held to account for working class Liverpudlians being hurt or killed. No, that wouldn't do, would it? Okay. Right, after the Guardian, we've got the National. So let's get a National up. And the National's on about our oppressors today, folks. The views on Indy Rev 2 carries less weight than some think. SNP respond to Starmer and Reeves. SNP responds to Starmer and Reeves amid report of Labour bid to oust PM. It's been interesting watching down that road as this election gets near. They're shiting themselves. But with David Lammy make it clear that there will be no referendum because Labour are a unionist party and they will make the union work, whether we like it or fucking no, which is interesting. You've got Reeves telling us no, there'll be no referendum or no vote. You've got Starmer telling us no, there'll be no vote on the right to self-determination. No. And then you've got Corbyn telling us if the people want it, they should have it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Scott. And another one here, don't want to miss it. Thank you very much, Mark Leslie. Now, as I say, folks, if you're living in England and watching this and you think it is the right of your government to tell the Scots where and when they can ask themselves a question, then you need to get your head a wobble. And remember, while they're oppressing us this way, yous have been oppressed as well, but worse. Because we still have the right to protest that oppression. You fucking don't. And with the prescription of Palestine action being challenged in the courts, and I believe yesterday was the last day the courts are out for deliberation, it could have an implication. Your freedom's being stamped on. Maybe I'll have an implication for my life. On a personal level, actually. Independence, 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 and eyes on the prize. Thank you, Kirsty Hamlin. Thank you very much. So, the views on Indy Rev 2 carries less weight than some think. It carries no fucking weight. But what it does tell you is that they're quite wrong to trample on people's human rights. They're quite wrong to stamp on people's human rights. Which human right are they stamping on here in Scotland? Well, the right to self-determination. And that's a basic human right. A basic human right applies to nations, groups of people, and individuals. Mental. Think on, people of England. They're denying one of our basic human rights, and they're denying some of your basic human rights, like the right to protest, freedom of speech. The right to freedom of speech and expression is being trampled on down that road. Next up, we have the I, and we're back on the Hillsborough situation. Still no justice. That's the pictures of all the people who passed in the Hillsborough disaster. And it tells us that after 36 years of investigations, nobody's going to be held accountable. But there is no surprise there for anyone, folks. There just isn't. The state went a long way to cover this up. You think it's going to prosecute the agents of the state? Nah, it's no. Next up, we'll get the Metro. We'll get it up. A&E concerns amid 45% weekly rise in cases. Winter flu surge as NHS in freefall. Who's NHS? This is also how propaganda works, folks. Who's NHS? Is it the Welsh NHS? Is it the Northern Irish NHS? Is it the Scottish NHS? Is it NHS England? That's how propaganda works. Doesn't tell us whose NHS is in freefall because of winter flu. It just says NHS in freefall. Well, there isn't just one NHS. That's how propaganda works. There's 4 of them. So which one is it, Metro? It just refers to the NHS, folks. And that's how propaganda does. That's how propaganda works. That's what makes the BBC so clever a propaganda machine, because it's regional. So you've got Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, and all the English regions. It's absolutely set up perfectly to be a propaganda machine, and that's exactly what it is. But that's how propaganda works. It's not very precise, it's general. Flu's on the rise here because of anti-vaxxer muppets. Well, you know, I think I've had an invitation, but I've never bothered. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I just don't need the flu. Vaccination at this point in my life. If I become more susceptible to flu later in life, I might think about it. But at this point in time, I seem to be quite resilient when it comes to flus, colds and flus. Right. As you can see, I've put the book down. That means there's only one thing left, and that's the star. It's the star got for today. What tells us TV star knocked man off scooter. Holly broke rider's neck. She was done for driving. She pled guilty to driving without due care and attention. And I think she gets 6 points on the licence and a £2,500 fine, thereabouts. Which is quite lenient considering she knocked this guy off his scooter and broke his back. But sorry, his neck. I'm assuming the guy's made a full recovery. And I'm also assuming that her insurance premium shot through the roof because her insurance company's going to be paying out a fortune in compensation to that guy. So it is. So it is. Right, that's what I've got for you this morning, folks. So, naughty ex-military man from Scotland, suspected of being a Russian spy. World Cup tickets, £1,000 a pop. 3 out of 4 doctors think the NHS here in Scotland is normally safe. Not high enough. And apparently MPs are looking into how the Crown Estate charges royals for their accommodation. So that's it this morning, folks. Oh, and some wallopper in the LBC gets spanked by a representative of one of the refugee resettlement agencies in Glasgow, who had their bloody hate baiting. You know, she caught him banking rights. I'll play a bit of that more afternoon. So we'll see you all tomorrow morning, 10:30. Don't be late, or you're on the naughty set. Bye for now.